with Stugotz and Hochman.
I mean, what's better than with Stugotz and Hochman to start out the week?
Nothing.
I mean, the time of our lives.
It really is the time of our lives. It is. We enjoy doing it. Yes.
Something funny happened in the last episode. And I can't remember it, but we were playing something back from when you and I were doing 2 days. And I said, you said something like, or I said something like, yeah, you and I were having fun and Dan didn't like it or something like that. Cause we were doing the mornings and then we'd go into do the afternoons. And somebody it was either on the YouTube comments or sent it to me on Instagram as a direct message. It was like, oh, the horror, Stugotz and Hoch were having fun. And I was thinking to myself, that's the name for the next podcast or show that we do together, which is Stugotz and Hoch have fun. Because that's really, when I go, I mean, another episode, what's better than this? And I'm like, it really is fun. I get so many direct messages from people and they're like, I love hearing this old stuff. And I'm like, so do we.
Yes.
Like, it's not bullshit. Like, we're just having fun.
We love hearing it. We love breaking it down. It's like when you watch a movie, you'll always learn more about the movie the second or third time you watch it than the first time you watch it. And so hearing some of this stuff back just brings up new elements to what we did, things I hadn't thought of when we first did it. And so it's been fun for us. I'm glad that the audience likes us. We should say this in fairness to Dan. He was getting us after doing 4 hours of radio.
Yeah.
And then sitting around for 4 hours waiting for our show to start.
No shade intended. It was just a funny scenario going on where you and I were just like letting loose for 4 hours. And then we had to come into the show in the afternoon and fall into line to do the show that he wanted to do, which, by the way, was the show that everyone wanted to hear. So, no shade.
Yes, but
no
not as fun.
It was fun. It was fun. But all this stuff, like the fact that we get to, so my theory, my idea for today's episode, if you recall in the last episode, and I got to thank just the listeners of this podcast, you and Dan and me, even at the beginning, we used to talk about it, this community of listeners to the Le Batard Show, and that exists today. And I feel like I've, over the last decade, created a community of listeners with Crowder and Solana. And I would say in the year that we've been doing this podcast, a lot of that community has gravitated towards us. And on the last episode, I had said my son, who has graduated from college, created this website where he's selling old merch and new merch, like from the Hochman, Crowder, Solana show. But we brought back horsemuffins.com. And the listeners to this podcast and my radio show have bought a ton of merch already. And I thought it was the coolest thing. Yes. And by the way, there's 2 new shirts up there. There's a Mark Hochman sports comic, like touring t-shirt, one night only, because it was the end of my career. And then there's also a quote t-shirt up there, which is Sam Snead, my God, in quotes, and then Al Lombardo, 2011.
Excellent.
Having said it, but there's really good stuff up there. And if you want to support my son who's graduated from college and this is his side hustle, you can get the merch at horsemuffins.com. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to ask, has your son been surprised to see the community around the show and how much they have rushed to the site? Or
yes, and what really has tickled me as a dad is like the Lombardo thing. I said to him, I want a shirt that says Sam Snead, my God. He has no reference point to it.
Right.
So he's like, well, what is Sam Snead, my God? And the thing that tickles me is, so then I show him our podcast episode talking about the Lombardo calls, and he's grinning ear to ear. Like, he's 22 years old, but he hasn't heard much. I mean, I don't think he recalls anything from the Le Batard show because he was a little kid. But this is, so that's what this episode was going to be. I was going back in time when because I marvel at my son is a college graduate.
Crazy.
And we're still talking about stuff that happened when he was 6 months old. He was 5 months old when our show started.
Yes.
5 months old.
Yes.
He's graduated college. Your daughters are obviously the same age, right?
Right. Yeah, they graduated college, but I stayed with the show longer. I stayed with the show. They grew up with the show, so
Like
they probably heard more of it than your son did, right? Is that fair?
Yeah. Because I stayed on for about 8 years. So 04 to 2012. So he's, like 8 years old when like he knows me as a solo radio host, from doing mornings and then doing afternoons now on QAM.
I would say that, and Taylor would know, I think he was listening at this point. Rachel became a very big part of the show. Me coaching Rachel, the lacrosse trips I would take, that became a big part of the show. But this reminds me what you're doing with your son. It's like Serena, who wanted to come back to Wimbledon because she wanted her kids to see just how big of a deal mom used to be. And now your son is finally realizing what a big deal you are. I love it.
My introduction to Stugotz's twin daughters is when he said he wants Mark Sanchez to date one of them.
Oh, Jesus, I regret saying that. I did. I was just saying there could be worse choices, worse options, than getting a quarterback from USC.
That take has aged
back-to-back
poorly.
AFC
Yeah, it has aged poorly. You would not want your daughters anywhere near.
I regret it, I said. Chosen anyone else just about.
My idea for today's episode, and again, what I said last week was, listen, there's shirts, just Stugotz and Hoch Pod. There's the sports comic shirts. I forget what else is up there, but there's some really good stuff. There's a 790 logo. It says always 790 the ticket for people who is like, it's always 790 the ticket. To me, it doesn't exist anymore. Right. There's some cool stuff up there. My son has designed it all and he's built the store and he runs it all. And I said, if you want to consider yourself like, hey, I like the podcast. I love the old material. And so buy a shirt. It works out if it's $25, it's $2 a month to get this content. DJ gets all the money. You're helping a college kid get his footing. He's moving back to Tampa today. He's on the road at some point during this episode. I may have to break out and say goodbye to my son who's leaving, which is again mind blowing.
Yes. Just remind him, just so he knows, if he puts anything on that site with my face on it, okay, it's 80-20 my way. Yeah.
It's up there. There's a With Stugotz and Hochman podcast logo shirt with your smiling face, which people are buying. I cannot wait to see one around town. So go buy a shirt. It's horsemuffins.com. But my idea for today's episode, and this episode ends up having nothing to do with it, and I'll tell you why. I'll pull back the curtain and talk about things aging poorly, Taylor. So my idea was I was going to show you like the transition from what we were doing on this show in like 2004, 2005. And one of the things that people used to love was I would complain about my wife's sandwich making abilities.
Yes.
And it was a bit. But she one time had forgotten Swiss cheese on my pub sub. And it became this whole thing on the show because you and I would back each other up. I would be telling Dan, hey, she knows we've been married 12 years and now we've been married 28 years, but we've been married 12 years, Dan. Like she needs to know. I don't have to tell her to put Swiss on the sub. She should know that after 12 years.
Right.
And you're backing it up. Now, Dan was not married at this time.
No.
And he's like, that's not her job. And you and I are playing this role. Yes, that is her job. And, and you're interrupting me and you're like, Dan, I got to tell you, like, she's got to know after 12 years.
Yes.
If he likes Swiss, the Swiss has to be on the sub. But then I'm listening to this segment and you and I sound so misogynistic.
Oh God, I can't even imagine.
That I'm getting the spilkas listening to it because you and I are like, the woman has one job and it's to make sure the husband is happy. In the meantime, by the way, if I can pull the curtain back, and again, we were doing a bit. Right. My wife is a successful professional. She was probably making more money than I was at the beginning of the show. She's got an MBA. I don't. Like she is but that was kind of the bit where Dan would be like, no, she doesn't owe you anything. And then I find a phone call. Did you know Lori was on the show with us? Lori did a segment with me, you and Dan.
I do not recall that. That is
neither
delightful.
had I.
Yes.
And she held her own. Dan was like, what happened with the sandwich? And because it was that like a couple of weeks later, I had gotten to work. She was making me lunch at that time because I was the program director, and I had so much to do. I just never had time to leave. So I would eat lunch in the lunchroom. And she had made me a turkey sandwich, but she didn't toast the bread. And I did this whole bit about how the fuck is a sandwich even a sandwich if the bread isn't even toasted? I'm like, that's the key to the sandwich.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this whole bit about like, how many steps are there that you would forget to toast the bread?
Right.
You know, like there's like, take out the bread, take out the turkey, take out the mayo, take out the cheese.
Yeah.
Toast the bread, put the sandwich together. You're done. There's like 5 steps.
Yeah. Not your first rodeo. I mean, let's go.
If you forget one of the steps, you forget to toast the bread. You've forgotten 20% of what makes the sandwich. But anyway, so she calls in, or Dan calls her, says, have her on. But again, you and I just sound so misogynistic. But I was going to use this old sandwich stuff and the Lori bits as a way to say, hey, thank you for supporting my son. You guys have lived through this like we have. Like a lot of people remember Dan, I mentioned this in the other episode, Dan taking my son in his stroller. We were having Thanksgiving dinner at the Le Batard house.
Yeah.
And Dan taking my son in his stroller and putting him in the middle of the street to surprise me.
Yeah.
And then when Lori and I are leaving and saying our goodbyes, and we're like, where's the stroller? It's in the middle of the street. And then Dan jumps out, and I was horrified. But my son was probably 8 months old at the time, 7 or 8 months old at the time. And people still love that story. They reference it all the time. And I'm like, all of you who are with us now in the podcast who listened on the early days of the show, like, you're at the same stage I am somewhere else in your life. But my life is no longer the kid in the stroller, the helpless kid in the stroller. It's the kid who's graduated from college and is moving to Tampa.
Yes.
And it's like, we've all gone through so much, but I was going to play some of the older stuff, but I love that. It's so misogynistic.
By the way, I spoke to Dan after that episode and I said, totally dick move doing that with Hawk's kid. And he still maintains funny. I don't care what anyone tells me. It's funny.
And I'll tell you where the disconnect is. It's a funny joke if you hold the baby, put the stroller in the middle of the street, but hold on to the baby yourself and go hide with the baby. So if by chance the 1 in a million happens, a car flies around the corner and you stumble as you were going to pull the stroller away, there's no baby in the stroller. The baby's safely in your arms. So it's so close to funny, but instead it's psychopathic.
In fact, in that scenario where the stroller's out there and you're holding the baby, but you think the baby's in the stroller, you actually want a car to come violently hit the stroller. So Dan can pop out and be like, ta-da!
I've got the baby. Yeah. So, but anyway, so this episode is something different. So, but I do appreciate and would appreciate if you can find it in your heart to buy some merch from my son's site, horsemuffins.com. It's also called HawkLovesAvocadoToast.com. If you can go to that site and purchase a shirt or a hat or a hoodie, that would be great. So then I start thinking, I'm always like, so what can I tie into stuff that's going on right now? John Mellencamp is on tour. Are you a Mellencamp fan at all?
Back in the 80s. I mean,
yeah. I kind of dig his old stuff. You know him at all,
I do.
Taylor? You know John Mellencamp?
I don't.
That's wild. I mean, he's got at least 25 hits that you could sing along with. Like he was, Jack and Diane is probably the song that hurts so good, maybe that you would know. Yeah. But I mean, it's just hit after hit. But anyway, John Mellencamp.
So he's touring, Hawk. He's still on tour.
So he hasn't toured in a while. And when he has toured, he's very cantankerous. And there are millions of stories of people going to see his concerts. He lights the audience up for talking. People want to hear his hits. He doesn't play his hits. Like, he's really been a dick for 20 years. Okay. And I would never go see him live. And I actually stopped listening to his music just because I'd read so many stories about what a dick he is.
Interesting.
Well, all of a sudden, he's had a change of heart. He's in his 70s, and he's like, I'm doing a greatest hits tour. I'm doing amphitheaters and arenas. I'm doing all my hits. He hasn't played these songs in decades.
Wow.
And it's audience friendly. And he's like, you can sing along or whatever. And so then I got to thinking, well, what if I pulled out some hits that I haven't played in a while, a la John Mellencamp? You know, some of these songs that I did for the Le Batard show where I was like, yeah, that'll never see the light of day because it just never gained traction. It wasn't that good. But so I start looking for some of the songs that I've done. There are some songs everybody remembers, but there are other songs that kind of fell through the cracks. But I found a segment actually of you and Dan and me chopping it up over 3 songs where I'm kind of doing like a VH1 storytellers thing where I'm just talking about the music. And I guess the way we got into it is Rafael Palmeiro. Remember he had testified in front of Congress and it was like a disaster because it did come out afterwards that he had used steroids. And remember, didn't he like point at all the congressmen?
He did. He pointed. He was very strident over the fact that he had never used steroids. Yes.
Yeah. It came out that he did. And I did a song to it, to the Love Boat theme. It wasn't great, but I guess I told Dan, hey, you should play this. I don't know what news was breaking about Rafael Palmeiro, but I'm like, hey, you should play this. And it got into a segment where we played a few songs. So you're going to hear in this little segment the Rafael Palmeiro song. You're going to hear my Michael Doliak song.
Oh,
remember Michael Doliak?
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember Michael Doliak, Taylor?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
you do?
Yeah.
Really?
My neck, my back, my Michael Doliak.
He was a white heat center, was never very good. And then something that I hadn't heard till I heard this last night when I was listening to the segment, a Donna Shalala song.
Get out of here.
You remember Donna Shalala, Taylor?
No. So the only reason I really remember Michael Doliak is he was a Knick in the early 2000s.
Oh,
Right,
wow. I did not know that.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Well, I did a song. It did not work. And then Donna Shalala, she was the president of the University of Miami, but she had come from Bill Clinton's administration. She was part of Bill Clinton's cabinet.
Yes.
And then she became president of the University
She was
of
after
Miami.
Paul D, correct?
Yeah, and she's like 4'7", a tiny little woman. But anyway, here is that segment. Think of it as my John Mellencamp reemergence, playing some stuff that I haven't played in years. Here is the segment that I stumbled across yesterday.
Speaking of Palmeiro, because I think this is topical and timely.
Rafael, lots of hits and home runs, but you lie.
I'm a crooner.
Jose shot roids in your buns. Oh, Rafi, you sat before Congress and you said you were clean. But now look at this mess. Palmeiro uses roids to hit those long ding-dongs. Palmeiro uses Viagra for a stronger schlong. Set a course for deception. People change their perception of you.
This is so bad.
And steroids won't hurt anyone except Rafi Canseco, Tony Mandrich, and Ben Johnson. Palmeiro uses roids. Palmeiro lied to us. Rafael Palmeiro used steroids.
Just, I wish we could have stayed quiet longer. It's so dumb. Go ahead and just find a couple of other songs, some of your old classics that you want to play, because you forced that upon me. I don't know where that came from.
You want some of his best stuff?
He just said in my ear a moment ago, let's do Palmeiro. Okay?
I'm so glad you asked for some of my best hits, because next to it is a song that I wrote many years ago.
What is this show we're doing? We're
This
now
is like
doing
storytellers.
Right. Okay.
Many years ago, I wrote a song, and it didn't become a big hit, but it really is one of my best pieces of work. It was about Michael Doliak. Does anyone here remember Michael Doliak? Yeah. Anyone here remember the old Olivia Newton-John song, Heart Attack? Yeah. That may have been my problem with this spoof song, was that I spoofed an Olivia Newton-John song that nobody knew. Mm-hmm. But I'm so proud of this piece of work. Can I play this Michael Doliak song?
Sure.
Bullet pass for Doliak, who rams it through. Doliak. Doliak, his first hoop. Doliak. Bullet pass for Doliak, who rams it through. Doliak, who rams it through. Doliak.
The game goes by.
Oh, Jesus.
Shaq's legs are weak.
Oh, my God.
Zoe's out of breath. He just can't speak.
Doliak, his first hoop.
What should Riley do to help out the Heat?
This is playing in hell.
Maybe Wayne Simeon, but that's just crazy. If the Heat only knew what they're putting us through. We need more. Doliak. We need to see more Doliak. Doliak. The secret's Michael Doliak. He's so blonde and he might score 7. Doliak, not Zoe.
Doliak, who rams it through.
I can't catch my breath.
They can't all be winners.
Doliak's a dream.
See the look of
The
disgust
cutest
on
thing
your
since
face.
Steve Kerr I've ever seen.
Doliak.
Is that about enough?
I'm way past the point of Ronnie cycling. Doliak's the key to getting that ring.
Doliak, his first hoop.
If the Heat only knew what they're putting us through. We need more. Mike Doliak. We need to see more Doliak. Doliak. The secret's Michael Doliak.
Doliak, who rams it through.
It's being accused that this was played at Gitmo. It was played at Gitmo while people were being waterboarded. But we can keep playing some of your greatest hits, Hawk. This has got a schmarmy sort of music show feel to it. So if you want to tell us the backstory behind another one of your cheesy hits, that's fine.
Would that be played instead of waterboarding? That would be the form of torture?
It's a combination. It's a combination. If you really need to get some information out of a witness.
They have a very rare song that I rarely performed. In fact, I only did it one day on the show. We were having Donna Shalala on at 5 o'clock one afternoon. She's the president of the University of Miami. And I wrote a song about Donna Shalala coming on the show. I haven't performed. This is a very special audience to me. And I haven't performed this. I can't remember the last time I performed this. Do you want to hear my Shalala song?
But it's just for this audience, right? Because it means so much to you, today's audience, that you want to do something special for them.
I won't be playing this in Utica. I am doing this here because I like this crowd.
Bonus material?
Yeah, it's something that I feel like firing off. If you want to hear some of my greatest hits.
This is for you, just for you, South Florida, okay? This is for you, South Florida, and the reason we're playing it is absolutely not because Stugotz and I are tired and don't want to do the rest of the show.
What do we do in the 5 o'clock hour?
That's not a slow song.
Maybe talk some Shaq and Wade. We've been talking way too much Chewbacca. We need a good guest on the line. Shalala.
Good.
Who wants to bleep Shalala? I'm begging Donna, please, Shalala. Donna, won't you please come on our show? We've had on Henry Winkler. We've even talked with Tom Osborne.
Like a fool, we've had on Zonka too. And then he shipwrecked in the Bering Sea. Shalala.
Yeah.
Come on,
We need you on the show, Shalala. It's either you or Matumbo, Shalala.
Zonka.
Donna, won't you be on our crappy show?
There's more? No, that's it.
No, there was more there, wasn't there?
No, that thankfully that's where it peters out.
That would go over well in Boston.
There's always we're back live on the pod now, but that's always one of the things we would do stuff on the show. And like Boston was such a great sports radio market, and we would do something like that, and we'd look at each other and go, that would play well in Boston.
They're pounding Red Sox calls.
I mean, literally doing 2 segments on whether Kurt Schilling should have thrown a curve or a fastball. And we're doing Michael Doliak and Donna Shalala songs.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that Shalala song, great song choice, Layla from Eric Clapton. But just, it was great. It's underrated. You know, songs, sometimes you don't appreciate a song until a couple of decades after the song was done, you know?
Totally agree with that. In fact, this one that I'm going to play for you now, since I feel the same way about this podcast audience that I did during that segment where I want to play some unreleased B-sides or songs that I haven't played in a while. This song is not in that category. It's not brilliant, and it's terrible. I made this song. Do you remember the receiver who caught the ball that prevented the Dolphins from going winless in their 1-15 season?
Oh, Greg Camarillo. Yeah.
Greg Camarillo. That is right.
Yeah.
So after he had that game-winning catch against Baltimore, I fired up a Camarillo song. I found this last night. This one is terrible. It certainly fits into the mold of the 3 songs you just heard. By the way, the Rafael Palmeiro song, Taylor, do you know the Love Boat theme?
No.
Yeah, it's so funny because that theme is so well known, but you didn't even know the song that I was spoofing, right?
No.
Yeah.
But that's the type of singer he would want to be if he could actually sing. That's
like schmarmy lounge singer.
Yes.
The Michael Doliak song, you didn't know Olivia Newton-John, Heart Attack.
No.
Eric Clapton, Layla.
The only reason I know it is because I did a Jalen Brunson parody song to Layla as well.
Oh, okay.
He did. Yes.
All right. This Greg Camarillo song, I believe, is to Duran Duran Rio. Does that ring a bell, Taylor?
No.
Duran, none of it. Rio was Mario Chalmers to you. That's it.
Nothing.
So the only reason why I know Duran Duran is because I did a Chris Berman skit where I did Jalen Duran and I called him Duran Duran.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he did. He did a Chris Berman.
All right.
skit.
Well, here it is. This has not been heard in years. My Greg Camarillo song.
He runs the field and he searches for a goal line. He wears Welker's number and I bet he's very nice. Across the middle and a move to the left, you're never gonna catch this guy. You know you're something special and you look like you're the best. Greg Camarillo is the hero of the game. Greg Camarillo filled the Ravens team with shame.
Sing along, Taylor.
And when he runs, he really shows you what he has. Oh, Camarillo brought us to the promised land.
Kind of a banger. Taylor's not even bopping his head. I mean, nothing.
But the real song, right?
No, I thought that was pretty good. All right, then I'm going to give you one that actually is a banger. As long as you had to sit through Rafael Palmeiro, Michael Doliak, Donna Shalala, and the Greg Camarillo song. This one, I was talking with Josh Appel last night, telling him what I was doing on this pod. And when I mentioned this song, he said it's on my Mount Rushmore of songs. So
of
this
Mark
one's
Hochman
an actual
songs.
hit.
Of Mark Hochman songs.
Yeah.
Okay. I want Taylor to look up just so we can have an idea of who Duran Duran is and what they were. Simon Le Bon. Just look up an image search of Simon.
You know they're still touring.
I know. It's insane. Right?
It's crazy.
insane.
And he looks good, man.
Yes. So Josh Appel put the next song, as Taylor's looking that up. He put this next song in his personal Mount Rushmore of Mark Hochman parody songs.
And most people do. This is the idea of today's concert. I made you sit through some songs that you hadn't heard in a while, but when you're leaving the arena, I'm going to give you an anthem. I'm going to give you a banger. And this one, by the way, I believe has the greatest ending of any song, not just that I've created, but any song in the history of music. I think the editing at the end of this particular song, and it's not as long as the audio clip may look to you, Taylor, because there's a lot of bed at the end. Taylor's probably looking at it going, is this an 8-minute song? Like, what's going on here? But no,
I think he's looking at pictures of Simon Le Bon. Now, if you're looking at 80s Simon Le Bon, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're looking at current pictures of Simon Le Bon,
I think he's holding up well. I think he's holding up well, no?
No, I don't know. I mean, I have such a distinct image of him from the 80s. You know,
they were the kings of music videos. I mean, the reason Duran Duran was so popular is because they were so good looking, and music videos were everything back then.
Yes, no doubt. Yep.
So this song, it's the pirate song. Now, do you remember the phase that we were in on the radio show when we were enamored with pirates?
Yeah, there was Pirate Day down in the Keys, I believe. Yep. We had Pat Croce on, who was a huge fan of pirates, and I think owned a pirate museum of some sort.
Did, in the Keys.
Yeah, so I do remember the pirate phase. It was great.
But there was something going on in the world that made it even more exciting. Somali pirates.
That's right.
You remember this?
Yes.
You remember this, Taylor, when the Somali, I mean, you probably weren't even alive. I mean, no, this had to be like, what, 2009, maybe 2010. There were all these Somali pirate hijackings of ships sailing around the Horn of Africa. And we didn't know that, like, the world didn't know pirates still existed, but there were Somali pirates, and we were fascinated with this on the show. Everybody in America was fascinated with the Somali pirates because these big cargo ships were trying. In fact, did you ever see Captain Phillips?
Captain Phillips, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have an idea of what the Somali pirate situation was like. But that
was like 2008 to 2010, Hawk, roughly in that.
It captured everyone. So Billy Joel had that famous "We Didn't Start the Fire" song. And I remember Dan had said to me, why don't you do a pirate song? And then I was like, I'll just do pirates, like old Pittsburgh Pirates, Bill Madlock, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes.
John Gruden, you know.
Yes.
And I created what many consider to be one of the greatest lyrical examples of quality songwriting in the history of music.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, when you get to the end, I guess I wasn't exactly certain how to finish it and punctuate it. So I used a device at the end that I think is worthy of a Grammy, if nothing else. This is the pirate song.
Blackbeard, Dale Barra, John McKay, Bill Day, Walk the Plank, Eye Patch, Vince DiMaggio, Bill Madlock, Jim Fregosi, Connie Mack, Willie Stargell, Lee Mazzilli, Lloyd McClendon, Sixto Lescano. Scurvy, Barry Treasure, Raymond James Stadium, Testaverde, Keyshawn Johnson, Ken Obergfell, Ed Ott, Dave Parker, Leroy Selman, Chum Bucket, Michael Stott, Kent Colby, Richie Zisbrick, Russell, and John Gruden. We are scared of pirates. They are always scary and they're never caring. We are scared of pirates, and we will not fight them, but we will start crying. Captain Hood, Captain Bligh, Tony Pena, bad guys, Cito Gaston, Doug Drabeck, and Sean Dunston. Tony Armas, Bly Levin, Barry Bonds, Bonilla, Dunn, Greasy, Derek Brooks, and Jim McCormick. Bidwell, Milton May, Tampa's got a winning team. Dan Plesac, Pokey Reese, Jeff Supan, and Ed Sprague. Van Poppel, Doug Berg, Ozzie Virgil, Bob Walk, Van Slyke, Bob Swift, Trouble on my cruise ship. We are scared of pirates. They are always scary and they're never caring. We are scared of pirates, and we will not fight them, but we will start crying. Pirates, Captain Jack, Barry Treasure, Fred Dunlap, Mike Leach, Pat Croce, all the other pirate guys. Long John Silver, Davy Jones, Pittsburgh Pirates baseball, Doc Ellis, Dennis Lamp, the greatest catcher, Lance Parrish. Freddie Patek, Jack Rowe, Casey Stengel, Boya, Honus Wagner, Maury Will, Safe Passage is a no-go. Larry Ball, Matty Alou, Wally Backman, Spurrier, Wakefield, Frank Tavares, Pirates in the Congo. We are scared of pirates. They are always scary and they're never caring. We are scared of pirates, and we will not fight them, but we will start crying. Perish, Congo, cruise ship, Rudin, 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 perish, Congo, cruise ship.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the pirate song. I think the best reaction out of you was Freddie Patek.
It was so good. Appel is so right. It's absolutely a Mount Rushmore of Hawk parody songs. I just wrote down a few names that made me laugh. Richie Zisk. Richie Zisk in there. Sixto Locano always makes me laugh.
Sixto Locano was great.
Ed Sprague. Bob Walk. Terrible name for a pitcher.
Yep.
Bob Walk. And then the trailing Lance Parrish. Like just the trailing parishes.
Yes. Parish. The easy radio device, Taylor.
Yes.
Throw in a little echo and a repeat, and it's a good way to get out of anything. Milt May was in there. Milt May and Freddie Patek.
It was a who's who.
It really was a who's who of pirates. That song holds up to this day. So there you go. That's a little, I don't know how we got to today's episode, but there are other songs that I want to get to that I found. We just won't have time on this episode. I literally am going to go say goodbye to my son, who is waiting for me right now because he's leaving for Tampa. So
yeah, just tell him to send me 80% from the sales of my shirt real quick.
I'm going to take down the one with Stugotz's face. By the way, if there's something you want to hear on the podcast, I always tell you, just DM me on Instagram. It's Radio Mark Hochman on Instagram. I try to respond to everybody. I have a whole bunch of DMs that I was going to read today, and we just haven't had time to do so. Here is, if you're watching on YouTube, there's the Stugotz and Hoch logo shirt, which features Stugotz's smiling face on it. You can get all these shirts at horsemuffins.com. And if there's a shirt you want, you can DM it to me on Instagram. Say, hey, you should make a shirt about this.
Yes.
Radio Mark Hochman on Instagram. And I will get back to everybody at some point. We'll have more episodes this week, by the way. We're going to have a busy week of episodes. Would you like to do some nicknames on the way out here?
Of course. Let's do them quickly, though. I want you to say goodbye to your son. Okay.
Do you know who won the British Open over the weekend? I won the radio station's British Open pool. I'm an expert at the British Open.
You picked Ryan Fox?
No, but I had three out of the five names. I had 3 of 5 who ended up in the money. I had Aberg or whatever his name.
Oberg, yeah, it's Oberg. An A. It's weird, but it's Oberg, yeah. Right? Yeah, should be Aberg. I mean,
I'll give you all
golfers,
golf nicknames. You know enough golf nicknames, you think?
I'm not sure. Let's try. Well, if you give me the right ones.
Phil Mickelson.
Lefty.
All right, that's good. You guys are the second one that came up on my Google search for golfers' nicknames.
I can guess it. Craig Stadler.
It's not, but go ahead. Craig Stadler.
The Walrus.
All right. How many do you have to do? 3?
Yes.
Sam Snead.
My God.
Came up. Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know Sam Snead's nickname. I don't.
Taylor, you want to take an educated guess? Help him out?
Think Sammy Sosa.
Slammin' Sammy?
Slammin' Sam.
Wow, Slammin'
Came right up on my Google search. Sam Snead, Slammin' Sam.
Thinking Sosa was the perfect clue right there.
Did you know that, or had you just looked it up, Taylor?
I had looked up golf nicknames when you had mentioned it.
Oh, all right.
No, he doesn't know who Sam Snead is.
Sam Snead, my God.
I'm not certain he knows who Mickelson is.
Did you know that Billy Joel song that I spoofed for the Pirate song?
From The Office.
Oh, my God.
Perfect.
It's crazy, man. These young people like that, and I'm guessing you didn't know Freddie Patek, Sixto Lescano, or
but you had to know Ed Sprague, right?
Let me tell you something. This podcast is done with forever if you don't come back on the next episode with a whole bunch of info on Ed Sprague.
He only knows about Sixto Lescano because we bring him up every other episode.
Oh my God. All right, there you go. The Monday edition of With Stugotz and Hochman. Appreciate everyone who's part of this. We really do. And we will speak with you on the next episode.
I'll tell you what, Richie Zisk could rake.
With Stugotz and Hochman.